Welcome to Abstract Essay, where the essay type thoughts find depth and every conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest. One of his advocacy empowering you to achieve your full potential, none other than Dr. G. Rex Kruhly. Welcome on Abstract Essay, Dr. G, and can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
Hello, folks. I'm Dr. Rex Kruhly, and I am the founder of a specialized form of healing method, quantum physics, consciousness. And I got over 50 years of study behind me. I'm looking forward to this podcast.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Dr. G, thank you. So today let's talk about overcoming financial blocks, an expert's guide to reprogramming your mind. So, how do you define a financial block, and what is the most common misconception people have about what's holding them back?
Well, the most common problem will be cognitive dissonance. I know because I grew up with it. It took a long time to get rid of that regarding money, financial blocks. So, to understand what I mean by cognitive dissonance, lots of guys use that word, but they say it very loosely. It's a ratio uh, between your subconscious mind and your conscious brain. So, let's say you do what I did. I started studying uh, from wealth coaches like Tony Robbins at the age of 18. And I'm not sure if you know, but my screen changed. Can you
Yes,
hear me?
yes, I
Oh,
can hear you, Dr. G.
okay. So I was taking all these different seminars on financial security, wealth, how to generate wealth, everything. And I was becoming very well educated. And lots of people, like let's say they go to school, they get MBAs, they have a tremendous amount of knowledge in their brain. None of it works. None of it. Why? Because if there is a what I mean is none of it works. If they have cognitive dissonance, it won't work. It never has, it never will, period, end of story. And there's the simple neurologic reason for that. Subconscious mind's power is 1 million or 2 million, and the conscious brain, where all that information is, only has a power of one. It's a 1 to 1 million ratio, and recently research is saying 1 to 2 million. So the subconscious mind has all the power, the conscious brain has nothing. If you have a belief or a schema that has been established, especially before the age of 7, that says you can't make money, or you can't have money, or you'll always be poor, or you're not very intelligent, or something like money only is for special people and you're not special. No matter how hard they work, I know I tried for 30 years, it doesn't matter because the subconscious mind will overrule. And when it overrules, it'll short circuit all of their knowledge, the data, the plans, everything. So, the number one thing to do when you want to establish wealth, like I did, is find and have you have to find the cognitive dissonance, and you have to remove that or shut it off. Now you can try to go direct with brain reprogramming, but the problem with brain reprogramming is it's an overlay. So it's like building a house on a landfill. and you build the house and everything looks good, and 30 years later you get cancer and die because the poisons are still in the ground underneath the foundation of the house. That's so brain reprogramming is an overlay. The best way to use brain reprogramming, remove the dissonance and the negative belief systems or schemas first. That's what I do. That's what depth healing is designed to do. And then brain reprogram is very easy and it sticks. Otherwise, let's say you use Psych-K. Psych-K is the best brain reprogramming method, bar none. It's verified by functional brain scans. If you were using that and you have a strong dissonance laying underneath, and then as you go into business or as you're living your life, an environmental trigger, a circumstance or something triggers the dissonance, and then it'll short circuit. It's the same thing with emotional trauma. It's the best way is always go in like I did, remove the dissonance completely, and then the wealth can come in. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. Dr. G, remove the dissonant. And how do we remove the dissonant?
Okay, that's the in my particular profession, is I call it applied quantum physics. All the quantum physics means is it's looking at everything as it actually is. It's all in forms of energy fields. Information in your subconscious mind is like little bubbles, little photons of light that have the information encoded in them. Okay. I use two kinds of frequencies, and you can look them up in Google or AI. Destructive interference waves and constructive interference waves. So, a destructive interference wave simply means, um, let's say this photon, this information here, it has a particular frequency. If I match that frequency with a destructive wave, they meet each other and they cancel to zero immediately in real time as soon as they meet each other. And then a constructive interference wave means I have a molecule or a photon of light with information in it. If I send a constructive interference wave that matches it perfectly, it magnifies it, it increases it in power, size, complexity, etc. So what I do is I'm you can consider me a real master in the ability to talk to your mind, the field, anything. I'm a master of self kinesiology at a very surgically precise level. So I go in and find your a very first download relative to some question about money, something that you have as a block. Let's say it's at age 4. And then I can measure it, target it, and I disassemble it. I keep breaking it down. And as I'm breaking it down, that means I'm removing all of the entanglements that go along with that programming, with that download. The entanglements have got to be removed too. The ones I'm working on are the ones that are available in your consciousness. I know this is complex, but I've tried to make it as easy as I can. So while I'm disassembling, I'll eventually get to where I shut it off. Done. Every time I knock it down, I send right after that the corresponding constructive interference wave that builds. So I'm I do a process where I'm taking all the negative stuff, negative programs, beliefs, perceptions, I'm removing them. Meanwhile, I'm building the consciousness. So your brain is reorganizing. Your subconscious software is reorganizing in real time. As that is occurring, when perception changes, your frequency changes. The universe doesn't read your mind, it reads energy. What energy? The energy you radiate. The primary energy signal we all radiate is our self identity. It's the biggest. So if the self identity is poverty consciousness, like I was raised in, that is what the universe will affirm, poverty, and your brain, because of the way it's designed, will select and search for everything that confirms you're poor. It will not see wealth for you. Doesn't matter how much wealth there is. You can't see it. That's the way the brain works. So when I go in and I'm changing the subconscious software, that perception changes. Your frequency or self-identity then changes. So the universe starts to give you money, affirm opportunity, affirm wealth, abundance, because that is your perception, your frequency, and that's because the dissonance is gone, and your brain and all of you has reorganized. That's what I do. Now, did I say that well enough? You can follow me.
Yes, Dr. G, yes, indeed. So, why is simply learning or budgeting tips or investment strategies often ineffective until someone does the internal reprogramming work first?
For the reason I just told you, that the knowledge in the what I call the educated brain, the frontal cortex, is nothing at all. It's just data. It goes nowhere. The frontal cortex is so weak, it only processes 40 bits of information a second. The subconscious mind is processing 40 million bits of information a second. So the trick is it's fine to learn something, and I mean you have to, and that way you can plan and so forth and so on. But your plans, your ideas have to be endorsed by the subconscious or they go nowhere. Doesn't matter. So the subconscious now in modern neurology, it's agreed that the subconscious runs a minimum of 95% of your all your behavior, everything you see, all of your senses are filtered and totally controlled by the subconscious mind. It's the way we're made. The first 7 years is all unconscious, no matter how smart you think your child is, and they're smart, but the thinking brain is not active. Period. End of story. It has to develop for 7 years. By the end of the 7 years, when it's absorbing data at 40 million bits per second, 24 hours a day, if you do the math, it has approximately 10 quadrillion bits of information about life and its environment in order to be socialized as a human being. So then the frontal cortex activates at 7 years old, and we go from theta brainwave pattern to alpha. This is all just simple neurology. But that first 7 years from the time of conception up, that determines everything. The good news is you can change it, find it, manipulate it, and that's what I do. And what happens when we do well? You get success. Otherwise, no matter, it'll be very frustrating. You know, you can go down to one of those Tony Robbins rah rah seminars. They're jumping up and down and screaming and everything, and he uses that kind of hype to change their state. That's true. And then they get all kinds of good information. That's all good. Then they go home, and 3 months later, it's all gone, done. And then they go back, do the next one, pay another couple thousand, and it's a good business. But unless you change the subconscious mind, you go nowhere. Period. It's always inner world.
Interesting.
Always focus on your inner world, because the outer world is only the reflection of your inner world. Period.
Okay, so Dr. G, what is the first step someone should take to even identify their specific financial blocks? Is it tracking thoughts, emotions, or patterns?
Okay. Well, let's say you make a decision to see me. So I say to them, uh, what kind of a block, what's going on financially? And they'll say something like, well, I'm an entrepreneur, and I make like $60,000 a year, but I've never been able to get past $60,000. I never get past that, or 100,000 or 300,000, whatever it is. It's like a financial ceiling. So then with my skill sets, I act like a detective. I can trace through their subconscious all the way back to the conception in the egg, wherever it is. I can find it with surgical precision. And then the job is to disassemble it and follow it all the way up, download after download, in order, until we get past the age of 7. And then that will remove the foundation for that financial ceiling. Then I come up to the present day, where they are now, find out if there's any active program on any level sustaining or creating that financial ceiling. If I find it, I remove it. As soon as I do that, the financial ceiling is gone, and then they climb. Now, if you want to try to do this yourself, which is next to impossible, your best bets are: one, always use a pen and paper. Always. The process is totally different than on a computer or any other technology stuff. Next, the way the universe is structured, your finances and money come through your father. If you have obstacles in your life and there's always trouble or complications, that's from your mom. Okay, that's the way we're designed. That's the way the universe is structured. So you want to check and think and see, do I have my father's blessing for wealth? If he's alive, and if he'll listen to that, ask him for the blessing. If that's too weird for him, or if he's dead. When I found out about this kind of thing, my father died when I was only 27. So, and Pop had he grew up in the Great Depression. So he grew up with a poverty consciousness. So there are ceremonies you can do to receive your father's blessing for wealth. And then you ask your mother's blessing that life is easy for you, that it flows for you. As soon as you receive that blessing, everything will change immediately. Things start to work very, very well. So I teach people how to do that, because I'm a spiritual guide also. Next, um, sit down and take a look at your life, and because what you're looking at is you. So look at your home, look at how you live, look at is the house a mess? That means you're a mess. If you have all kinds of clutter, that you're cluttered. That's why it's there. So it's a mirror. When you want to do self-analysis, that's the way to do it is by your surround. Then on another level below that, a little deeper, try to pick up your inner dialogue. If you look for statements like where you say, I can't afford that. I'd like to do that, but I can't afford that. That's a schema. That's a self-identity statement. Remember this if you don't remember anything else. The universe only has one word, okay. That's all. Doesn't matter what it is, it's only going to say okay. Remember that. It doesn't matter what it is. Good, bad, satanic, angelic, it doesn't make any difference. So when you say something like that regarding money, instead of saying, I can't afford that, you say, I choose not to buy that right now. And when you say that, I choose that, you're empowering yourself. When you say, I can't afford it, and the universe says, okay, well, bada bing, bada boom, you can't afford it. Period. End of story. And it'll stay right there. And then your brain will be searching for everything in your environment to make sure you can't afford it. That's the way all this works. So you check your self talk. If you open up the fridge and you're out of your favorite beverage or whatever, don't try not to say stuff like I don't have any of that. Just say something, change it, and say I'll be going down to buy some of that. I'm going to go get some of that. Or you can say statements like I could afford that, but I choose not to right now. Later, you have to check for your self talk because the self talk is running your activities. Your brain will filter for that to make sure you're right, and the universe will affirm it and really make it solid as rock. Where does the divine come in? The divine and the universe, not the same thing. Think of the divine like Santa Claus. You wanna have a new car, and it's the divine will bring it to you. So the divine is like a special friend. The universe is only going to say okay. The divine has special ability to help you. That's the way that works. But your mind and brain must be the subconscious must be endorsing what you want to do. And if you realize that you're blocked or there's issues there, you get a hold of me and I'll remove it for you. That's what I do every day of the week.
So, Dr. G, what is the most surprising or counterintuitive insight you've learned about psychology of money through your work?
Ask that question again.
What is the most surprising or counterintuitive insight you've learned about the psychology of money through your work?
I'm not. Is there any other way to say that? I don't quite understand that question. Nothing's coming to my mind.
So, for how many years that you work in your profession, Dr. G? For 10 years?
Well, I've been studying and working in all of this for over 50 years. Depth healing itself was began in 2012,
So, what
and
did you
I've
learn?
helped thousands of people
What did
then
you
till
learn
now.
from it, Dr. G?
From depth healing,
Yes.
everything. You mean about money, specifically the money?
specifically the money itself. Yes.
Oh, okay, okay. Give me a second to try to understand. Well, since that was my biggest journey, because I had cognitive dissonance that had been embedded in me for over 2 decades, at least two, almost three decades, from my father and then from my teacher, my great master Kushida, hammered that into us. How worthless money is, that it's beneath our feet, that there's no dignity to it. And then my dad, being a son of Polish immigrants, raised in the Great Depression, all the perceptions about money, everything was very difficult to get, have to work really hard. Um, all kinds, everything was negative in my consciousness. And if you're a child like I am, and you're emotional, I'm a very emotional man. The stronger the emotion, the stronger the imprint. And then every time you get a imprint, it entangles, because your brain is filtering your world to make sure that everything makes sense. So it connects everything to make sure that belief of being poor about money is true. So when I learned about cognitive dissonance and the ratio of the subconscious mind to the conscious brain, that is the human condition. That's the human challenge. So it was very exciting for me to find it. It took me with my great master doctor that taught me all this is Dr. Larry Habersky in Atlanta, Georgia, and I was with him for 8 years. And he was working continuously all year to help remove my cognitive dissonance about money. And finally, my I don't have any dissonance to money at all. That's why I have money. Everything changed. So I guess to answer your question, uh, you see, like you can go on Instagram and YouTube, and you see all these guys, and they'll say, it just, think positive, or just make your the law of attraction. You just go ahead and feel. They make it sound so simple. That's all a bunch of silly delusional nonsense. If that was true, everybody that does that would be rich, and they're not at all. Not at, those guys, when you see them at those big seminars, what you don't hear is all the thousands of people that they get nothing. They get hyped up for a couple of weeks. It's nothing. It's all dissonance in the subconscious mind. All you got to do is read the current neurology, because that's where all the cutting edge science for the brain is. It's on the subconscious. Now, you have to realize, when you're listening to someone like me, all of the media, all of it is programming with tremendous sophistication your subconscious mind to keep you living like a slave, where they put it look like there's a carrot, in front of the horse, the goal, you're going to be this multimillionaire, and you're working like a hamster in a circle, and you'll stay like that until you die. And the whole uh, society is very sophisticated. They use what's called cognitive warfare. If you want to see something, you can get Chat GTP to describe in detail what is cognitive warfare and how does it work. It'll blow your mind. Well, they use that to keep you poor, to keep you needy, to keep you stressed, worried, in fear, uh, to make you always into a consumer and not a producer. Producers are the ones that are going to get wealthy, not the consumers. But they program you all the time. What I'm talking about here, we run counter to the system. The system isn't your friend at all, not at all. So you got to take your power back. And when I was given the, depth healing from the divine and shown how that I could do this stuff, because I had no clue. I was just a regular doctor. I didn't know. But I studied for so many decades, so many systems, and all of a sudden they brought it all together at one time, and it was this huge revelation. And of course, in my case, I've lived all this stuff, so I'm not some idiot talking through his hat. I was so poor, folks. When I was a doctor and I was a master martial art, I have all kinds of titles. Couldn't make a dime, not a dime. And I was living in Georgia with my wife at the time, and the only reason I was existing was because she was a physical therapist and she had an income. Nothing I did where I didn't know what the dissonance was. And Dr. Habersky showed me, got rid of it. I left North America and I moved here. And when I did that, I shifted to wealth consciousness. The dissonance was gone, so the wealth consciousness was huge, and very fast I became very, very wealthy. In as far as Thailand standards of life go, I'm a millionaire in Thailand. Thailand is different than America, but I'm a millionaire in Thailand. And before, I'm not kidding. When I say poor as a church mouse, I mean dirt poor. And I knew all kinds of stuff, but none of that matters. I have to change the subconscious mind. So what I learned, I guess that's what my answer is. Once you know the inner world is the key, then it's up to you to find who or how you want to take control of that. And then everything works. You
Okay,
just
so Dr. G, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
please, for some reason I only hear you a little bit. Can you speak up so I hear that better?
So, Dr. G, can you please invite our listeners to support your business, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Oh, okay. Thank you. It's really quite exciting, actually. I don't know if you've ever heard of fluoroquinolone toxicity, but it's one of the most horrific, ugliest things I ever heard of in my life. And I even as a doctor, I had never heard of it. And then one of my dear friends from Ireland was floxed. They call it being floxed. What they do since the 1980s, it's really horrible. They put this thing called a fluoroquinolone in the antibiotic. It only takes one pill, and it can utterly and totally devastate and destroy your life, your health, your brain, everything. You wake up the next day and you're utterly an invalid. Horrible. And it's a billion-dollar industry. And they still do it. And I had never heard of it. Most doctors never. I called so many doctor friends of mine, nobody heard of that. And it's a syndrome. It's not a thing. So it doesn't get diagnosed. And there's this famous doctor in Germany, Piper, Dr. Piper, and he's one of the world's leading experts to help people. So I studied all this stuff, and I'm going to take it on. I have a new landing page
Okay, so people, let's support Dr. G. Kruhly because if you support him, for sure, more and more empowering, achieve your full potential. Right. So, Dr. G, thank you so much for your time. More to come, people. See you soon.